Welcome to all of you. I am very happy that you are here in large numbers, and I hope you'll also all be present in Yashobhoomi from tomorrow onwards for the third edition of the India Energy Week. Now, this is the third edition of the India Energy Week, but I want to share with you that in the short time that it has been around, it has already become the world's second largest energy platform. And I say this with a sense of responsibility. How do you measure the scale and importance of an energy platform? When we talk about ADIPAC, which is the largest energy platform, you talk about it in terms of the nature of participation, you talk about it in terms of the exhibition space, you talk about it in terms of the number of professional sessions, the technical papers produced. And I think Secretary will agree with me and he'll correct me if he thinks I need correction. But today, India Energy Week is something more than that. And not because I want to pay you a compliment because you're here, but the very fact that in a pre-event session, the event is to start tomorrow, you've got so many of you present here, means that there is interest. But this interest is not just in energy as we understand it. By energy as we understand it could be, traditional fossil fuels, crude oil, refining, petrol, diesel. This is much more. This is about technology. And I think my understanding is that we've been able to do in 3 years what in fact the largest platform, ADIPAC, has done over a much more extended period of time. So within 3 years from the time we started in Bengaluru, Goa, third one in Delhi, and the next one, 2026, will be in its permanent home, where the ONGC is developing a 240-acre site, which will be a conference tourism site, and which will also be the home of the fourth edition of IEW, which will be in February 2026. I'll just share a few statistics with you, and then I'll request Secretary to chip in. And then we'll have a short session of exchanges, any interaction. Of course, we'll be meeting every day from tomorrow to the 14th. That's a permanent feature of how we organize these. Both Secretary and I will be available. One is that, as I said, IEW 25 is poised to be bigger, diverse, and more impactful than its previous 2 editions. It will span 1 lakh square meters, and will be the second largest energy event globally in terms of participation, which means ministers, CEOs, exhibition space sessions. Now, I'll just share some figures with you. Compared to IEW 23 and 24, this one will have 65% higher exhibition space, which will here be 28,000 square meters. That's 65% more than last year. 105 conference sessions, which is 24% higher than 23 and 15% higher than last year. More than 70,000 delegates, which is 55% higher than 2024 and 89% higher than 2023. 500 speakers from India and abroad, which is 38% higher than 2024 and 58% higher than 2023. It will have 700 plus exhibitors, which is 57% higher than 2024 and 115% higher than 2023. Now, why am I giving you these comparisons in terms of what happened in 23 and 24? Because unless there is interest, by the way, this is not an event on which the government is spending money. Let's be very clear, it's not. When you see it promoted, the organization of this event is so structured that economic entities in India and outside will ask for exhibition space. They will ask for facilities. Now Yashobhoomi ka kitna hai total size? We've had to go beyond that in German tents.
Yes, sir. This is in fact Yashobhoomi is fallen short in terms of the infrastructure.
In terms of the infrastructure, so we chose the biggest, but Yashobhoomi is fallen short, so we put exhibition space outside. Now I just give you some other statistics. The growth in participation of international speakers in strategic conference IEW %, as against 33%. I mean, I'm talking about the participation of international speakers. The event will see participation of 20 ministerial level participants, foreign ministers, deputy ministers. We have them from Qatar, UK, Russia, Brazil, Tanzania, Venezuela, heads of international organizations, head of OPEC, IEF, IEA, so on. 90 CEOs from Fortune 500 energy companies. Will feature the Avinya Energy Startup Challenge 2.0. The winners will be announced there. Ujana Voka Private Limited, so I won't go into that now. Vasudha, which is a global challenge for upstream startups in oil and gas, 17 overseas entries received. Top 2 startups will get it. Pavilions and zones. We've got 10 country pavilions. The biggest is, I think, the United States with 246. Sorry, USA. Okay, sorry. Germany is even bigger, 324 square meters. USA is 246. Norway is 236. A lot of them at 150, 156, and 2 countries with 48, Canada and Denmark. So 10 country pavilions will be there. There will be 8 thematic zones with areas ranging from 350 square meters to 1951 square meters. They'll cover petrochem, India net zero, hydrogen, oil, renewable energy, biofuels, make in India, CGD, LNG ecosystem. The SIAM is setting up a sustainable mobility pavilion under the theme people-centric mobility ecosystem. They are going to showcase 15 models of cutting-edge technology for 2W, 3W, 4W vehicle categories demonstrated by 10 equipment manufacturers. And some of the innovative exhibits, I'll request the secretary to list them and also give his comments, then we'll open up for questions.
Things which definitely if you are able to take out some time, we would recommend that you go and visit. At the ONGC Pavilion, there is a simulation game to understand deep sea operations of remotely operated vehicle, which is called ROV. See how they go deep inside the oceans, how they fix things, if a platform is not working, if something has to be done down below, what is to be done. HPCL's first indigenous 500 watts solid oxide fuel cell system, that would be on display. They're also showcasing what they call HP Accelerate, which basically is a flex fuel conversion kit. There was a lot of interest in terms of understanding when higher blends of ethanol come in petrol, what do I do with existing vehicles? Can I retrofit them? So this is something which may be of interest, that how do you do a flex fuel conversion kit? Particularly for older, even older version of two-wheelers, can you put something? So that should be that's something you can look at. BPCL will be showcasing an ATM for LPG, which means that instead of a 14.5 kg cylinder, how can you go to an ATM and get LPG for almost like a sachet for LPG? How can you get that? They are a working model of tidal waves. There is from OIL, there is a digital monitoring of real-time drilling operations. EIL is talking about how they are going to be using geothermal energy at Leh Airport. So we've just been doing geothermal exploration in Ladakh, and they talk about this. CSIR will be displaying India's first e-tractor, which they have developed. In fact, it has traveled over the weekend, especially travel for this. So these are some of the things which we definitely invite you to have a look at. Apart from a hydrogen bus which will be taking, that is something which is again a highlight which will be seen moving around the campus. In addition, the abstract of the papers, for those of you who are technically minded, there were 2,700 technical papers being presented. The upstream startup challenge this time has been particularly unique because this was open to startups from across the world. And our winners are, they will be obviously from startups from who are competing on a world platform. And that's a new thing we should start with.
No, thank you very much, Pankaj. Before we came here, Pankaj and I were having a discussion. So it's like, how much do we share with them? So if we say we share too little, maybe you'll say, it's all that is. If we share too much, then we don't want to say that you can write your story here. So we've done what a good sound approach is. We give you a little bit, etc. There are many more things that you can see there. Last year, I remember when we took the Honorable Prime Minister round, there was an indigenously manufactured electrolyzer, and it was in collaboration which BPCL had done with BAR. For our submarines, we break up the water stick to produce oxygen to breathe within the submerged platform. So there are a lot of exciting things. There were last year, there were this year. But I also want to tell you one more thing. This is the first energy event of the year. Alright, we are in the month of February and lots of exciting things are happening in the world. I mean, some of you are more familiar with the daily doses of excitement which we hear from all different parts of the world. Therefore, I think IEW 25, apart from showcasing what can be done in the E&P sector, what can be done in the technology sector, is also a great platform with immense potential to network between companies, between representatives of governments, and you will have all shades of opinion of policymakers who have a very important role to play. I mean, I'm not saying we've got the people who are to actually take the decision, but people close to them. We have a very strong US IBC delegation. We have, we'll have a session with them, with their CEOs. We have people from UK, the Energy Secretary there. We have from Norway. We have from the Middle East, Qatar. We have other places, and we have the Russian delegation here also. I met the Russian minister a few days ago. And so it's a place where a lot of what's happening in the world can also be discussed. And I think that's what makes it special. But more than that, I wanted to tell you that I am particularly keen that this message reaches out wide. It goes to our students. We have a lot of emphasis on students from the technical institutes, IITs coming. It reaches the younger minds. I remember when I was a few years old, if I went to the Pragati Maidan and saw an exhibition, something struck in your mind. But here, advances in technology are being made, cutting edge advances which are taking place. And therefore, I think it's very important that, and this exhibition is open, free to everybody. The technical sessions cannot, because you cannot have more than 500 or 1,000 people in a room, because if you do that, then it'll become beyond control. So the technical sessions are, some of them are under, by invitation. But please spread the message. There's a beautiful metro system. When I travel from here to Yashobhoomi, I take the metro. It's about 17-18 minutes from Shivaji Stadium to Yashobhoomi. So thank you very much. I think in terms of providing you a teaser, if I can call it that, a long teaser, but we'll be happy to answer any questions. We have a little time before I start my next session, so please feel free to ask questions. Rajiv will moderate it. Identify yourself, and then we'll try to answer it. It's an ongoing process. When we talk about energy transition, what specifically are we talking about? When energy transition, we are saying you have to move away from traditional fuels to biofuels, to green hydrogen, etc. So here is government policy, but apart from that, there are also the economic interface. if you talk about biofuels, all our participants in the biofuels industry are there. Okay? All our participants in the green hydrogen ecosystem are there. I don't want to name individual companies, but we found that they've all got stalls there. All the people who are making pipes for transportation of fuels, they're all there. So I think the sheer presence, look, make no mistakes, as far as the government is concerned, and the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, we have sessions ongoing with I will be having bilaterals with my counterpart ministers. I will also have bilateral meetings, they're not bilaterals, standalone meetings with the CEOs of the company. Secretary will have that. But more important than that is our CEOs will be having, and we've got 50%, but not 50. Private sector is pretty dominant. By the way, we talk about OMCs, but I want to acknowledge the fact that we have one of the largest refineries in the world, which is 60 million metric
64 million metric tons.
64 million metric tons per annum in the private sector. So we have a vibrant private sector in this. We have a very vibrant state sector, OMCs, and we have a government. And we are now also hoping to, I should say about this now, 10th round. We've had 9th round of OALP, open acreage licensing policy. We've had 9 rounds of bidding. We're hoping to do the 10th round during this thing. So, what does it add up to? It adds up to, yes, you have to do E&P, and we are securing some recent successes. We've got some navigation to do in the Andaman Sea. We need some help from other global majors in terms of seismic survey. We are signing a couple of MOUs today also, immediately after this. We are also, that 20% biofuel blending, we were supposed to actually achieve 6 years from now. So we are not doing it 5 years in advance, we're doing it 6 years in advance. Then green hydrogen, you're talking about a bus, but it's not a bus. The IOCL has actually issued a big tender in which there are a number of participants. So, first somebody has to come up with a policy, then they have to design it, then you have to issue a tender, and people participate. That's how the ecosystem builds. MOU on 2 of them, you'll get the details. But it's not correct for me. Let the companies first sign the MOUs, then the details will come up. It's an ongoing process. Very dynamic supply, purchases taking place from Saudi Arabia, from the UAE, from Iraq, from Kuwait, gas from Qatar, and more contracts are taking place. So I would say it's of the highest importance. And the number of companies I can check out. I didn't keep that granular data with me, but we'll let you know.